You wake up tomorrow? Normal morning, coffee's brewing. Then you check your phone and realize you somehow own Apple, Saudi Aramco, JP Morgan Chase, and BlackRock. 4 companies, 4 different industries, 4 different continents. Here's what nobody tells you. 3 of them would make you the richest person in human history. But the fourth one already quietly owns a piece of almost everything you've ever bought, sold, or invested in. And you've probably never even heard of it. Stay with me, because by the end, you're going to see something that will completely change how you think about money and power. The oil kingdom you never voted for. Let's start with the one everyone gets wrong. Saudi Aramco. Most people think of it as just an oil company. It isn't. It's a country disguised as a corporation. In 2022, Aramco posted $161 billion in net profit, not revenue, profit. After every cost, every expense, every salary. In 12 months, that's more than Apple, more than any bank, more than any company in recorded human history. Here's how. Saudi Arabia sits on 17% of the entire world's proven oil reserves. Aramco's extraction cost is roughly $2.80 per barrel. When oil sells at $85, Aramco keeps $82 on every single barrel. Now do the math. Aramco pumps around 3.4 billion barrels a year. At that margin, that's nearly $275 billion in gross profit annually, every year, without fail. But here's the part that should stop you cold. The Saudi government owns 98.5% of it. Aramco funds roughly 70% of Saudi Arabia's entire national budget. Roads, hospitals, the military, the royal family. All of it flows from one pipe. If you owned Aramco, you wouldn't just be running a business. You'd be running a country's economy. Miss a quarter, and a government collapses. The profit is historic. The responsibility is something else entirely. The App Store is a printing press. Apple made $383 billion in revenue in 2024. Impressive. But that's not the interesting number. Here's the interesting number. $96 billion from services alone. The App Store, iCloud, Apple Music, Apple Pay. That division operates at a 75% margin. For every dollar that comes in, Apple keeps 75 cents. Wait, let's make that real. Apple has 2.2 billion active devices on Earth right now. Every single one is a node in a closed ecosystem. Buy an app, Apple takes 30%. Subscribe to anything, Apple takes 30%. You bought the hardware once. The revenue from that customer continues forever. At current rates, Apple's services division earns roughly $263 million per day, $11 million per hour, $182,000 per minute, while Tim Cook sleeps. But here's the thing nobody talks about. The money printer has a serious enemy. The EU fined Apple $566 million in 2024 for blocking third-party app stores. The US, South Korea, and Europe are all attacking the 30% cut simultaneously. And 57% of Apple's total revenue still comes from one product, the iPhone. You'd be inheriting a machine that prints money, and a machine with 3 lawsuits aimed directly at its engine. The bank the government calls in a crisis. JP Morgan Chase, $4.1 trillion in total assets, the largest bank in the United States. In 2024, it posted $58.5 billion in net income, the highest annual profit ever recorded by any bank anywhere on Earth. That's $160 million every single day, $6.6 million every hour. But here's the moment that tells you everything about what you'd actually be owning. March 2023. Silicon Valley Bank collapses. First Republic Bank teeters on the edge of failure. The US government makes a call, not to Congress, not to a regulator, to Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan's CEO. Within hours, JP Morgan agrees to absorb First Republic, $92 billion in deposits overnight in a government-brokered deal. Think about what that means. When the financial system breaks, the government doesn't fix it. They call JP Morgan, and JP Morgan fixes it. You don't say no to that call. The bank isn't just part of the system. In a crisis, it becomes the system. That's the business you'd inherit. Not just profit. Obligation. At a scale most governments can't match. The shadow that owns everything else. And now, the one you need to hear about, BlackRock. $10.5 trillion in assets under management. Let that number sit. The entire GDP of the United States in 2024 was $28 trillion. BlackRock manages assets equal to 37% of that. Not as an owner, as a manager. On behalf of pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, governments, and ordinary retirement savers who have no idea this company touches their money. Here's how they make money. Fees. Even fractions of a percent on $10 trillion add up to $19.3 billion in annual revenue. Their daily take? Roughly $53 million. Every day, whether markets go up or down. But the fees aren't even the real story. BlackRock built a technology platform called Aladdin. Over 200 financial firms worldwide use it to manage risk, including competitors, central banks, and insurance companies. Aladdin models risk across more than $20 trillion in assets that BlackRock doesn't even manage itself. They didn't just build a business, they built the operating system that global finance runs on. What it actually costs to run power at this scale. Here's the map. Aramco controls the physical world, the energy every economy still runs on. Apple controls the attention economy, the device in every pocket, and the fee on every transaction it processes. JP Morgan controls the flow of capital, who gets credit, at what price, under what conditions. BlackRock controls the infrastructure of investment itself, the risk models, the indexes, the votes. These aren't four competitors. They're four different layers of the same machine. And here's what ties them together. The one idea you should take from this. At a certain scale, you don't own the company owns you. Aramco can't pivot away from oil. A government's budget depends on it. Apple can't open its ecosystem. That 75% margin disappears the second it does. JP Morgan can't fail. It's too systemically important to be allowed to. And BlackRock can't divest from industries its pension clients need exposure to. The people it serves won't allow it. Every one of these companies has become so powerful that their owners, whether a Saudi king, a board of directors, or shareholders, have actually lost the freedom to make radical choices. Here's the paradox nobody puts in a business school textbook. The more powerful the business, the less freedom its owner has. Power at this scale doesn't liberate you. It locks you in. You become the caretaker of something too big, too interconnected, and too essential to the world to ever truly control. These aren't businesses anymore. They're infrastructure. And infrastructure doesn't have an owner. It has a custodian. That's the real answer to the question. What would you do if you woke up owning all four? You'd realize pretty quickly that they've been running themselves all along. And your only job is not to break them. If you found this useful, share it with someone and subscribe to our channel for more.